Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Yeah, the old clock says it's 5 o'clock. Beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews. Today we're going to get into the Russian River Sours. This is Sanctification, and this is on the lower end of the ABV scale. This is a 6.75% sour / wild ale, and they're doing these particular style of bottles in the cork and cage variety of the bottles, which to me adds a little cost to it, but if it's high carbonation or re-fermented in the bottle, they're not taking any chances, so they put the cork and the cage on it to keep the cap from blowing off or anything catastrophic like that happening, I guess. That's only my assumption here. So let's get on with this one. This particular one is bottled on 0530 of 2014, so just a tad over a year old, 6.75%. And commercial description here on Rate Beer is the same as written on the back of the bottle. I can make this one a little bigger and easier to read in the very tiny print that they've got on there. Commercial description: who's afraid of the big bad Brett? We'll tell you who: winemakers. Because of our close proximity to several hundred wineries, we often get winemakers visiting our brewery. After all, it takes a lot of great beer to make great wine. Because we use 100% Brettanomyces yeast to ferment Sanctification, most winemakers will only smell the glass, and only very few will venture to taste the beer. They think the Brettanomyces will attach to their clothing and end up in their winery. And that yeast is vivaciously, it will take over everything. I'm actually scared to brew any kind of beer here with that kind of yeast, because it you cannot get it out. No matter what you do to sanitize everything, it gets in and you cannot get it out. So I haven't brewed anything with that yeast because I didn't want to have Brettanomyces yeast in everything that I produce from here on out. I mean, if you can't get it out of the fermenters, you can't get it out of your equipment. I mean, it just takes over. It just takes over. So I'm not going to be brewing, as far as I know, in any near future with the Brettanomyces yeast. So it is a powerful yeast, and like I said, it kind of wants to take over everything that it touches. So, and I understand why these winemakers are that way, because if it gets into the winery, it's going to contaminate their operations, and the wine's going to start tasting funky. So it's a very, very potent yeast. It really is. Let's see. They think, I read it says, we think the Brettanomyces will attach to their clothing and end up in a winery. A simple solution was offered: keep a smudge pot burning at the door of our brewery so they can burn their clothes when exiting. But even that was not enough. After giving it more thought, we concluded that winemakers think Brettanomyces might scar their taste buds and possibly even permeate their skin. Either way, Sanctification is one of the most unique beers you will ever taste. It was fermented with 100% Brettanomyces rather than the traditional Saccharomyces yeast. So I have had some beers with Brettanomyces that I've reviewed, and it is a powerful yeast. It really is. It definitely is a unique taste and flavor to the beers. Like I told you, I don't have the IBUs for this. It is 6.7%. Food pairing for this style of beer: Says here the cheese of pepper, Monterey Pepper Jack, and your more pungent cheeses. Glass wires, flute, tulip, oversized wine glass. I got my Sauvignon beer glass, and can be sold up for long periods under the proper conditions. Don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, so let me get the cage and the cork out of this puppy. And like I said yesterday, on these cage and cork ones, you never know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to explode and spew all over the place or what's going to happen, because they're all re-fermented in the bottle here. So it could be undercarbonated, it could be overcarbonated. This was sent to me by Nick. He sent me a bunch of Russian River beers, and Nick, thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. Big pop on that one. Very big. Very light color. And we got a little bit more head on this one than we did on yesterday's. And it does have a heavy sediment in the bottle, just like yesterday's did. Just about every time that they add some additional yeast or something for it to re-ferment, some sugars or whatever, to re-ferment in the bottle, you're going to get that sediment because the beer is still working. It's still, the yeast is still active. And if you kept it in a 70-degree closet, I mean, you could actually get one that would actually explode, probably. I mean, you'd take the cork out of it, and it would spew all over the place. But once you put it in the refrigerator and bring it down to around 40 degrees or so, the yeast becomes more dormant, and they're not as active or not active, and it doesn't keep fermenting in the bottle. So if you was to have this in a closet for 10 years and then try to pull the cork out of it, I'd say it would probably spew. That'd be my guess. Big, creamy head on that. I mean, a good 2 fingers of head in there. Almost looks like ice cream or a yogurt in the top of it. It's very, very stiff, very thick. Ooh. Over into the light, guys. It's got a slight chill haze to it, but it's got a ton of carbonation going on there. It's just spewing up through the center of the glass. I don't know if you can see it from there, because it's got a chill on the glass, but it is just going crazy. And you see that head sticking around. It ain't went anywhere since I poured it in there. Well, nice color, nice light golden color, but it has got a ton of carbonation. It has got a ton of carbonation. It is going crazy in the glass, almost like champagne. And even in the bottom of the glass, I don't know if you can see that, it is just going to town. You can see, I think the head's actually growing in the glass. It's up above the top of it now. So, super carbonated beer. Let's get a nose on it, see if I can smell anything through that big, thick head. Definitely got that Brettanomyces funkiness going on there. I smell some tartness in there. Almost has like a hay or a straw smell to me. Definitely got the sourness and tartness going on there. I can smell that. So, very unique smelling. That yeast is very unique smelling. Oh well, let's give it a hit and see what we got. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Nick. Thank you, brother. See if I can get into this without getting it all over my face. Definitely tart. Definitely a nice sourness to it. But it's not a huge, overwhelming sourness to me, which is good. I was thinking it's going to blow my palate out of my mouth, but maybe being only a 6.75%er, it's a little on the milder side, not like an 8 or 9 or 10% sour. It's almost like a sour apple taste to me. Sour apple or some sour cherries or something. It's just, It's very unique to the style, though. I mean, these sour or wild ale beers are very unique. I mean, it's a taste you either love or you don't love, and I'm trying to acquire that taste, guys. I really am. Very different from what I typically drink. IPAs and double IPAs and stouts are my favorites. And this is 180 degrees from that. Not bad. And they are renowned for these type of beers, especially Sanctification. A lot of people say this is one of the best sour slash wild ale beers that there is. So it's very nice. It's very tasty. It's very nice drinking. It's very light. Not getting any of the alcohol. A lot of tartness there to it, like a green apple or I don't know what else that other kind of fruit would be that tart. Persimmon maybe, I don't know. I haven't had a whole lot of persimmons in my life, but it's very tart. To me, it reminds me of a green apple. And some of them can be kind of tart or sour. So, well, let me take it back and let her get a sample of it and sip on it for just a little bit. Come back and. Like I said, I'm trying to wrap my arms around this style of beer, and I do appreciate Nick sending me all these Russian River beers. It's damn sure appreciated, buddy. It is. So, and like I said, there are people that are clamoring to try to get their hands on some of these beers from them because they brew such awesome beers and so many different beers. So, I'll be right back, guys, and we'll do the final chug. All right, guys, I'm back. Got just a little left here. The other half's taste, or palate, I should say, is about what mine is. As soon as I carried it back there and gave it to her, she took a drink and she goes, I said, yep, it's a sour ale, or a wild ale. She goes, shook her head. It takes a little bit to wrap your arms or your palate around this style of beer. Now this one, to me, is definitely on the tart side and a little on the sour side, but it's not overpowering my palate. So maybe I am getting used to it a little bit, but it's not something I could drink a lot of. I don't think I could drink more than one of these, probably. It's definitely in a day's period. It's just not got enough sweetness, and I like the hop characteristics, either a chocolate or a coffee style dark beer or a hoppy semi-sweet type of IPA. So, but I'm glad I got this and glad I got to try it. To me, it's got a earthy tart green apple sourness to it, but very, very, very nice. Like I said, I don't think I could drink a lot of these yet. Maybe down the road I'll be able to say, yeah, I got to have one of them every day. But right now, it's still a little on the tart side for me. It's very pleasant, though. I mean, it is very pleasant. Definitely unique, and to me, it's just like a sour tart green apple. That's what I'm getting, guys. That's what I'm getting. Let's do the final chug. Awesome lacing is leaving it on the glass. I'm sure it is a very, very well made beer. A lot of people clamor after this beer. They really do. Glad I got to try it. Cheers. The lacing is just off the chain, guys. Very delicious. It's just a little bit on the sour tart side for my taste, for me to enjoy something like this every day. But I'm glad I got my grubby little paws on it and got to try it. Sanctification from Russian River. Guys, as far as I'm concerned, I know it's a well-made beer. I know it's probably top-notch in its class. Definitely think it's an A beer. Not getting any off flavors or anything like that. It's just a tad on the tart sour side for me. So for me, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. There's other people say, "Oh, you're crazy! It's a 10. It's an 11." I'm not gonna argue with that. Absolutely, if you say it is, absolutely, I will not disagree with you 100%. But to me, not having my arms wrapped around this style of beer yet, I'm going to give it to 9. I think it's definitely a little on the tart sour side, but that's the style of beer that it is. So, whatever. 9 out of 10 for me. Data on the bottle, ABV on the bottle, 9 out of 10. If I was putting a numeric rating on this, it would probably be a 90, 98 or a 99, somewhere in that area. It's kicking on the door of a 10. Like I said, not having very many sours, probably no more than a handful. It's really hard for me to judge and be inaccurate. Like I said, if you was to tell me, oh, it's an 11 out of 10, I would say, I'm not going to argue with that. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 96 world class. So that tells you right there. I mean, when these guys get above 95, it's really an awesome beer. And over to Rate Beer says 100 overall and 98 in the style. So I think we're pretty much in agreement. We're in the upper 90s all the way around. So with that being said, if you've had Sanctification from Russian River, let me know what you think, guys. And come on back. We're going to dig out another Russian River tomorrow. See what we got. See if it'll blow my silly little head off. See you then.